Hey everyone, it's Boogeyman Ben. Hope everyone's doing well and everyone's having a nice weekend. Today's video is a new series that I want to start on my channel, and it's something I'm probably going to be doing into the next week. I don't think there will be a Comic Book Wednesday this coming Wednesday because I don't think I have anything that's going to be on my saver, but in case I do, I will do a normal Comic Book Wednesday video. What I want to do this week, just because there's so many cool horror TV shows on right now. I mean, you got Hannibal, you got The Following, you got True Blood, Dexter, Bates Motel. There's so many great ones right now, and I started thinking back to shows that I really loved growing up when there wasn't a lot of shows like that, and I wanted to talk about some that are my personal favorites. So this week is going to be about horror, sci-fi television shows that I'm really into and really love, and I'll give a little bit of a breakdown in terms of like cast and crew and the stories. And you know, a lot of these shows didn't go for long seasons. Either they went for 1 or 2 seasons, or 3 seasons, or 6 seasons, but they were inadvertently, most of them were canceled, or they didn't go, like the arc or the stories were never completed. So thought I'd talk about that. And the one I wanted to start with today is a show that I don't know if a lot of people are aware of, but it was one of my favorites as a kid, and it is Friday the 13th, the series. Love this show, and I just thought I'd start talking about this because I did that video for Arkham Knight '84 where I talked about the actor John D. LeMay, who was only really one of the parts of Friday the 13th Part 9, Jason Goes to Hell, that I liked. He played Ryan Dallion on this show, and I was a huge fan of him as a kid. And I wanted to talk about this show because this show was actually one that I remember when it was announced that they were going to have a Friday the 13th series. I was like I was like 12 or 13 when they announced it, and I was like every other kid. I was like, oh cool, Jason's going to be on a TV show. And when I found out it was just going to have the title, it was just going to be the title Friday the 13th, and it was going to focus on these antique people, the people that like getting these antiques back, and it was going to deal with like cursed objects and things like that. I was kind of like, that doesn't sound very good. And then I happened to watch it I was in 8th grade. I happened to catch it one night because it was always on at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I happened to catch the show, and I really liked it. And maybe that's where the whole collector side of me came. I just thought it was kind of cool how they had to each week go after one of these things. To give you an overall idea of the plot, pretty much it deals with, the story opens with Louis Vendredi, who made this pact with the devil to sell these cursed antiques out of his antique store, Vendredi Antiques. What happens is he tries to break the pact with the devil, and he loses his soul because he sold his soul. So what happens is the antique store goes into probate, and his estranged niece and nephew, Ryan and Mickey Foster, played by Roby, and of course Ryan Dallion, played by John D. LeMay, inherit the antique store. And initially, Ryan's really excited about it. Mickey, who's engaged to a really up-and-coming attorney, wants to just sell it off and collect the money and leave. So what they do is they start selling off the remaining antiques in the store, not knowing that they're cursed objects. Now, Vendredi had already sold a handful of these antiques. I mean, a lot of this stuff has already been sold, but he had kept everything in this manifest, which sort of cataloged everything that he had sold to people. They meet up with a man who comes into the store looking to be paid for what he was the one that would go out and find the antiques to bring them back to the store. His name is Jack Marshak, and he was played by Chris Wiggins, a Canadian actor. And he comes back to collect, not knowing that Vendredi is dead. And what did they find out when going through the manifest is that Vendredi had cursed the objects. They find like newspaper clippings all tied to like things that like there was one that was like a metal weather vane, and that had caused a house fire and all this stuff. So I mean, it was really interesting. But then they realized they have to go back and get these antiques before they cause any more damage. So the entire the series only ran for 3 seasons, but that was pretty much what every episode dealt with, is them having to get one of these antiques back that Vendredi or they sold out into the public. And it was a very fun show. Lots of, the Ryan character for some reason always connected with me because he was someone that was into comic books and art, and there wasn't a lot of characters like that on television. I just really liked them. But the show was really fun. I loved the show, and they finally released all the sets a few years ago on DVD. Now, like I said, it only ran for 3 seasons. Here's season 1. You can see it right there. Here's season 2. season 3. Season 3 is pretty much is a weaker season because what happened was, and like for people, I don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't seen the show, but one of the main cast members leaves and another character comes in and takes their place, and that was sort of, it just really wasn't very, it wasn't a smooth transition. I really didn't like the change in terms of the principles, so that was sort of hard to deal with as the show progressed. But you know, I didn't even know the show was going to be canceled. I remember, you know, the last episode aired in the spring of 1990, and then what happened? There was never anything out saying that it was canceled. But I guess the Christian right went after the show because they thought it dealt with Satanism, and the whole Catholic Church and everything went after them, and the show never got renewed. So the way that the series ended, it didn't end with, you know, them getting all of Von der Dee's antiques back, or, you know, they what they had in the show was they had this vault where they would put them all, so they would get one of the antiques back because the vault was protected. They had like these ways of keeping the antiques in there so no one would ever get to them again. But you know, they never, you know, it just ended, and there was never any closure, and it always made me mad because it was a really great show. I think the second season is the strongest season, but there's some great episodes in the first season, especially the episode The Scarecrow I really like. Tales from the Undead is a great episode. Bottle of Dreams is a great episode, and I think, I'm trying to think what my favorite episode was. The Inheritance is a really good episode because that sets everything up in the first season. The Prophecies in the third season was a really good one too. There's some really good, like I said, there's some really good episodes, really excellent writing, a lot of good character actors. But yeah, and unfortunately, like I said, the show was canceled. And I don't want to talk about the third season too much because there was the change in terms of the leads. Without people having checked it out. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about Friday the 13th, the series. Like I said, all three, you can probably pick them up pretty cheap now. I bought them, I think, back in 2007, 2008, I think they started releasing them. But excellent series if you get a chance to see it. Don't be, you know, I know a lot of people are like, well, Jason's not it, but it's actually a really excellent show. And I'm glad that they're going to be talking to, I don't know if all the actors, but they are going to, the segment of Crystal Lake Memories is going to focus on the television show. So the documentary is going to focus on the television show a little bit, and I know some of the actors are going to be participating, and I think everybody should check it out, and I'm really excited about that. Also, on a side note to end this, back in 2001, John D. LeMay actually had a website, and I wrote a letter to him and just told him how much I, you know, respected him and everything like that. The website doesn't exist anymore. He's on Facebook now, and I'm sure on Twitter, but I don't have any Twitter accounts. But he sent me an autographed picture, and they did this for everybody that wrote him a letter. But he sent me a autographed picture. It doesn't say to Ben or anything, but it just says John D. LeMay. I think it says love and peace. And then I also have this, which I bought on eBay a long time ago, that had his autograph as well, but I put that with it. But yeah, big fan of him, and if you ever get a chance to check out the show, I mean, it's an excellent, excellent show if you get a chance, especially the first two seasons. Third, it's a little rough. There's some good episodes, but like I said, there was a change, and I always thought that affected my the way I felt about the show. But I just wanted to do this video real quick. Hope everyone's having a good weekend, and I will do another one of these probably tomorrow or Tuesday. So hope everyone has a great day. Take it easy.